Man, I've been screwed up today.
There we go. Now we're live.
We live. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Jason Hardy with Elite Barbecue Smokers, and this is the Barbecue Roundtable. I got a really great guest today. Just about to come on there, but first off, Steven with Ribs and Pigs out of Australia was supposed to come online. He had something come up with work before he had to bow out. So catch him for a future show here. But we got Mr. Brian on here, and we're really excited to have him on here today. Brian, introduce yourself and your team.
Yeah, my name's Brian Payton. Our team name is Meet Me in St. Louis. So if you couldn't guess, we're out of the St. Louis, Missouri area. We get that question a lot when we pull up the comps. Where y'all from? My dad likes to tell people Toledo, but usually pretty easy to figure that part out.
Yeah, you've been. I met you. I think I met you at class, a heavy smokes class, several years back.
Yeah, I think that was
him.
I think that was the year you took the hot and fast. We were both in the hot and fast class, the gateway class, right?
Yep.
And you had to leave early, go to heavy smokes class, and then I was over there helping him Friday night and Saturday night and Sunday.
Yep, that was good class.
Yeah.
Justin having problems.
He's got one coming up this weekend that I'm going to be there helping him out with.
Heavy Smoke does?
Yeah.
Cool. That was a great class. I really enjoyed that class. It was really good as far as it taught a lot of stuff, and it kind of helped. It helped everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, trying to get Justin in here. We're kind of getting a little bit screwball with the live thing here.
It's all right.
There he is. Live, man, I tell you what, I apologize, everybody, today with technicals. If you got too many things bombarding you, we had it set up, and then for some reason it got screwed up on timeline. So, glad y'all here.
Brian, nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you, Justin.
Now, this is Justin Holt with Holt Brothers. Y'all seen the show. Y'all seen him on there several times. But we've got a great conversation today because we're going to talk to Mr. Brian and kind of give a background of your background getting into barbecue. But before we get into that, tell us what made you kind of have the passion to start with, to even enjoy cooking, to get into the cooking side of it.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's like a lot of people are. They kind of started when I did. It was barbecue pitmasters. You see this stuff on TV and like to cook a little bit in the backyard. And growing up, my dad liked to barbecue. 4 or 5 nights a week. Even maybe not barbecue, but grilling. We cooked outside a lot, and you kind of see that stuff on TV and you get a smoker and decide, well, that looks easy. I can beat those guys. And then next thing you know, you're entering a backyard competition and you find out it's not very easy, but keep coming back.
Now, you before we get into KCBS side of it, you came up though. You were in the St. Louis Barbecue Society.
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm from St. Louis, Missouri area. So St. Louis Barbecue Society has its own it's its own sanctioning body, kind of like I think the Carolina Barbecue Society that you have there, or the
South Carolina SCBA, yeah.
Yeah, SCBA. So they have their own kind of set of rules. They pretty much follow KCBS standards. It's chicken, ribs, pork, and brisket. Minimum 6 pieces in the box. There's a couple differences. The scoring's a little different. So a perfect score in St. Louis Barbecue Society is 225 versus 180. But it's still a 6, 7, 8, 9 style point scoring system, just different multipliers. And other than that, it's pretty much the same rules. So when I first kind of got into this kind of during the barbecue booms or competition barbecue boom, so to speak, that 2015, 2016 time period, there was anywhere from 12 to 15, St. Louis Barbecue Society competitions that would all be, the furthest one was maybe 3.5 hours from our house. So
nice.
It was pretty easy to compete locally against some really good cooks and not have to travel too far from home until we kind of got serious in it.
Cool.
Yeah, y'all got some really good cooks in that sanctioning body come out of it. I think Bill Hayden, Triple H come out of it.
Yeah, Bill Hine and Triple H, she and Andrea were SLBS Team of the Year in 2022 or 2020. Chris Schaefer with Heavy Smoke was SLBS Team of the Year in 2019. And in 2019 is kind of when Chris hit the national stage and started doing a lot of KCBS. He kind of chased points in KCBS and SLBS that year, and he put St. Louis competition barbecue on the map, so to speak. If you don't count like Tim Shear and Shake and Bake and those guys who are, we claim him as from St. Louis, but definitely not St. Louis Barbecue Society. He's pretty much always been KCBS.
Yeah, I mean, y'all got in that part of the country, there's really truly some really good cooks in that area, and for you cook in that area and be consistent and be the level that you've been is awesome.
It's definitely not easy, right? Like there's a lot of tough competition, but I think there's tough competition anywhere you go. The advantage kind of with this area is from St. Louis, you're 5 hours from Nashville and Memphis, you're 3.5 hours from Kansas City, you're 4.5 hours from Chicago area, so you're kind of, it is truly the Midwest, so it's pretty easy to cook in a lot of different regions.
Yeah, and I think what was saying, I think one of the one of the situations y'all have there is y'all normally have a couple of contests y'all can drive to on the same weekend.
Yeah.
And whereas on the East Coast, it seemed like every weekend there's one contest somewhere up and down the line. So where y'all at, y'all were able to kind of just go different areas, and some of them guys chasing points is doing 2 contests in 2 different areas at the same weekend.
Yeah.
Wow,
We've done one of those moving doubles once. I think I want to say it was maybe 2020. We went to one up in Iowa, and then, or it was probably 2019, and then came back and did a St. Louis Barbecue Society one. That was a Saturday, Sunday. I don't ever care to do one of those again. That's a lot of work. A double is one thing. When you got to pack all your stuff up, drive 4.5 hours, set back up again, it's not fun.
Yeah, when you start taking the fun out of it, we need to reevaluate this hobby because this is it's already a lot of work. But you start having to do that, that's a whole different level of hardship. I've never done that, and I don't plan to do that. I enjoy the enjoyment side of it. That's way too much.
It's too much like work.
It's sure. So you can make this hobby like work real quick.
Yep.
Many times. Many times make it like work. Got some fans on here. So Brian here brought up a good one, talking about you and your dad. Tell us about your team and tell us how because y'all started getting into it.
Yeah, so my dad and I, we kind of started this hobby. The first competition we ever cooked was one we decided to do, a backyard one, like 10 minutes from his house. It was a 4th of July deal. It was like pork steaks, chicken wings, and ribs, I think. There might have been other categories, a St. Louis Barbecue Society thing. And we decided we'd try it. And my mom came up and hung out with us, and we just kind of had a blast. And then after, a couple months later, we did another backyard one. And then the next year we kind of rolled in, and we used to have, friends or whatnot would come out with us. But then when we started traveling and doing 2, 3, 4 weekends in a row, all your buddies that like to come hang out quickly stop answering their phone. So it pretty much became just him and I, and we've kind of gotten to travel really a good part of the Midwest and Southeast together and see a lot of cool things.
It is crazy what we see.
Not many people my age have gotten to spend that much time as adults with their dad, so I'm pretty lucky to be able to do that with him.
Yeah. So we got Dutch Barbecue. Daddy Dutch Barbecue is asking, where'd you cook at in Iowa?
It was Ottumwa, Iowa. I don't honestly know exactly what's near there. I know it's about 4.5 hours from St. Louis. We've cooked there a few times. They used to have, they still have a good contest there, but I think the first year we did that one might have been 2018 or 2019. They had like a really big payout, and some friends of ours that we met when we first started are from up there. Randy and Roxy Kern with Gothic Town Growers kind of encouraged us to come up there. So we went up there and cooked that contest a few years.
So when did you make the switch from the backyard side to the pro side on KCBS side?
So we never did any KCBS backyard competitions.
Okay.
We did SLBS had some backyard competitions. It was like a they were more almost like a pros versus Joe thing. So there were pro teams there and non-pro teams there, but it'd be like 2 or 3 meats, and if it was beef, you could do like I think the first one we did was like tri-tip, and then that kind of stuff. So we did 2 of those, and I want to say 2014, and then 2016 we made the jump to SLBS and did some pro comps, some full like 2-day 4 meat comps. And then in 20, I want to say probably 2016 or 2017 would have been our first KCBS comp. And then we finally, after that, bought a trailer and started to get a little bit serious.
Dave does ask me, you were at the Royal in 21, wasn't you, this past year?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
year
we've cooked
before last?
the last 2. We cooked it in, I think, 2018 and then 2020 and 2021, or 2021 and 2022. So 2021, we had a pretty lucky day at the Open and were able to finish 3rd overall at the Open with the 3rd in chicken and ribs. So 3rd was kind of a hot number for us that weekend.
Yeah, y'all done good up there. There's a story behind that for beans, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was this year. So we didn't do very well in the 4 meets this year, but we did kind of on a whim enter the bean competition. And you talk about luck and just kind of dumbly stumbled our way into winning first place beans this year, thanks to the folks at Reese's Fine Foods for their prepared beans.
Oh, cool. You better Kevin here is saying you saved him one.
Oh, yeah, that was earlier this year. We were doing a SLBS competition with a few times Bill Hine and Chris Schaefer with Heavy Smoke and Bill with Triple H and Rob Honky with St. Louis Black Iron have teamed up kind of as 4 of us have each cooked 1 meat. And so we did an SLBS one, and Kevin didn't have enough Heavy Smoke White Label in us with him, and luckily that's something I've always got about 4 or 5 pounds on hand for. So,
What he's talking about the white label, this Heavy Smoke's white label's rub he's got.
yeah,
Heavy Smoke Chris Schaefer. That's not right.
yeah, that's Chris Schaefer with Heavy Smoke St. Louis.
I'm sorry, my mind's going in circles.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. Chris was the guy that sells his rub and stuff here, and he's using competition. Got great products. If you hadn't checked the stuff out, check out his white label. We've done a few YouTube videos with his products, and
yeah,
really good flavor to it. I enjoy using them.
Yeah, it's Chris, he and his business partner Chad started a food truck several years ago, and then around 2019, Chris started using the rub that they made for their food truck, his white and black label in competition, and then kind of released it that year. So it's a lot of people have had quite a bit of success with both his white label, which is more of a barbecue kind of rub for like pork and chicken and ribs, and then black label is more of a savory kind of all-purpose rub that you can put on pretty much anything.
He owes me a bottle of that. You remember back when COVID was going on and the barbecue league was doing those virtual contests?
Yeah.
So they had the brisket one, and I posted on Facebook that I was going to only cook a prime because, I mean, it's virtual, and who's going to –
right.
And he commented, "Oh, you're going to lose. There's no way." And I said, "I tell you what," I said, if I place higher than you in that contest, you owe me a bottle of Black Label deal. And I beat him by like 10 places. You know, like nobody's going to taste it. They're just looking at it, and like,
you better collect on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste a Wagyu for pictures and a video,
Right.
He never paid up, so.
God, those virtual competitions we do, we're
man,
dying to do something during
COVID. I can't believe we actually did that stuff. Gotta cook something.
I know, it's crazy.
That was a weird time, man.
It was.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for Rufus Teague's series, I think we always probably been going crazy.
We've gone pretty crazy.
And that's kind of what got us into doing more KCBS is we planned to do a few that year, and we actually got one in like the weekend COVID was happening in Olathe, Kansas. It's like schools are closed and this and that. We're driving to Kansas, and cooking a barbecue competition, and then all the comps we had signed up for, like at this comp, we're getting emails about cancellations and stuff like that. It was a crazy time, but that year kind of allowed us to stretch our legs a little bit and go to some areas we probably wouldn't have gone to.
Cool.
To cook, so that was cool.
Yeah, that's one thing here that I've always said about just a barbecue is just to be able to see the country.
Yeah.
Just see backyard USA, downtown USA.
Yep.
Because we go into little downtowns that we never would go to if it hadn't been for a barbecue competition.
And those are the coolest comps, I think, in my opinion. Like when it's like on like the streets of a small town, whether it's like Southern Illinois or Tennessee somewhere, like the whole town comes out and people want to know what's going on, and they've got a live band, they've got streets closed and stuff like that. Like those are always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Main Street USA. I agree.
Yeah. You just gotta watch it driving through those little towns because I just got a speeding ticket in Little Town, USA, South Carolina a couple weeks ago.
I got one in Illinois coming back from the Jack. So
yeah, never know where Barney Fife's going to be sitting in the corner.
Yeah. How do you get a speeding ticket pulling a trailer?
I don't know. And I was going 50, so I thought I was under the speed limit, because it's like a 2-lane road. And he's like, that was a 30 zone.
I wasn't pulling a trailer because we just went down there to help another team out. So I was without a trailer, but it's a long story. It was like a Sunday morning, and it was a construction zone, and I was just keeping up with traffic, but I happened to be the guy that he decided to pull over. So it was my luck. I'll find out how much that costs here in a few weeks.
Yeah, me too.
Now that I've said that, I know some barbecue guys that really go a lot faster than I do pulling a trailer.
I've heard about
I've been accused of that though, but I think it's unjust personally.
No, I know one that does, and I'll bring his name out, and he'll give me a hard time later on. Was Lee Hickle?
Oh, well, he doesn't have that big truck anymore, does he?
No, he got that gooseneck. He had to get the other one he could actually pull with his truck.
Yeah,
but he used to have that big one with the jacked up Texas truck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was gonna say my buddy Bill Hine. You're not gonna outrun him.
He's got like 100-foot trailer, doesn't he?
Yeah, but you ain't gonna outrun him.
Yeah, he doesn't drag around. Man, I've had so much trailer issues and stuff over the years. I just decided just to slow it down because God knows what happens if I go faster.
Right, you're smart.
I probably had the record in barbecue for trailer mishaps over the years.
Yeah. I saw your trailer down in Georgia. It looks like you've had the frame rebuilt on it and everything like that. So, or at least done some work under there. There's some non-factory steel under there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I put a lift kit in that sucker. Man, I've had all kind of fun. Yeah, and I got a 40-foot toy hauler. I shouldn't have these problems, but again, they don't make campers.
Those campers, man, they're not made to do what we do to them. Like they're made to go to the campground 2-3 times a year and sit there. They're not made to be hauled up and down the interstate like we do with grills in the back and every weekend, and especially some of the roads and stuff we go on and dragging them through fields and all that crap. Like we'll beat the crap out of equipment. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. I can't really give it a hard time because I do got 40,000 miles on that camper. So I mean,
so if there's any RV companies out there want to test their durability, give it to a barbecue guy.
Jason Hardy, Team Forest River.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
That's right.
But we'll take that sponsorship here. We'll be happy to put it on the road and test it out.
Right.
Team Camping World.
That would be nuts, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Golly bum. I'm sure somebody's tried that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's the case.
Positive somebody's probably tried that.
All right, so KCBS contest. You've done how many contests you think over the years?
60 something.
And last weekend you got your first GC.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So yeah, last weekend we went down to Cumming, Georgia, to the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic. and we're lucky enough to walk away with first overall. It was one of those deals where it wasn't like we thought after the brisket turned in, we looked, and we didn't both look at each other and say, we just cooked to 7-12, let's go pick up our trophy. It was just, we had our normal cook for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And just happened to hit some pretty good tables, which you have to nowadays. Like, barbecue's so close. Everybody's cooking so good right now that you not only do you have to have a really good cook, but then you just have to get lucky on the tables you hit.
That's absolutely true. Yep.
This weekend happened to be our weekend. We've had a lot of top fives this year and in the past couple of years, and we just happened to hit pretty good tables.
Hey man, y'all had a good cook, and you win a contest.
Oh,
Especially the level of competition you had out there at the contest.
Right.
When you win a contest with the level of competition, man, that's saying something. I mean, that is, and we all strive to win the contest. And what people don't understand is, I'm happy you won the contest, even though I was competing next year, still want to win it. I'm still till death. You got to win. Got to win the contest.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Like we're no doubt, like especially when our friends win, we're happy for them. But like, if I think I have a good cook and I don't get a call, like you might see me throw a chair in the bed of my truck because I'm leaving. That doesn't mean I don't think the guy that won didn't deserve it. I'm just mad, you know what I mean? But a couple miles down the highway, then I'm calling my buddy that won to congratulate him and find out where they're going next weekend.
Yeah. That's a crazy game we play, but
it is.
And we all do this for the competition of it, but we also do it for the fellowship of it.
No doubt.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the people and the friends that we've made in barbecue, I mean, I wouldn't still be doing it. I'd have found something else to do or pursued a different hobby that, is taking a back seat, that kind of thing. But just met so many good people that truly are, like family. And I've heard other people say before, I mean, not even barbecue related. You can be driving on vacation and break down in the middle of nowhere somewhere. And if you don't know somebody nearby, somebody in barbecue knows somebody nearby that'll come out and get you off the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done it. Richard wants to know, what do you cook on?
I cook on Gateway drums. So I've been always cooked on drums. I had first few years we had some homemade ones, and then towards the end of last year switched to all 4 Gateway drums. The homemade ones we had were great, but they were built to run off like Pitmaster IQs.
Yeah.
And I just kind of got tired of having electronics around, so we decided to move over to the Gateways.
That's awesome, man. So when you cooking at home, what do you cook on at home?
At home, I almost always use a Green Mountain pellet grill. I've got like an old Green Mountain Daniel Boone. It's like their medium-sized pellet grill, and if I'm like cooking for dinner or something like that, I use that. I'm lazy when it comes to cooking at home. Like I really like using a pellet grill. If I'm like over Thanksgiving, I gave my brother, we do a lot of our family stuff over at his house. He's got a swimming pool and all that. So in the summer, so earlier this year, I just kind of took a Gateway drum over there and left it there. So we can use that. We're having family gathering. So we made our turkeys on a Gateway drum, but
cool.
Every middle of the week, kind of grilling chicken breast, something like that. I'm a pellet grill fan. You can't beat them.
Nah, they are hard to beat as far as
I like
cooking.
pushing a button.
Push the button, get the smoke out of it.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I use a Rectech for competition, which I wouldn't say my season this year has been anything to brag about.
Those are fantastic cookers. Yeah. There's
a
lot of guys that, I mean, it's funny. You hear people talk trash on like people cooking on pellet grills, but how many guys have won the American Royal and the Jack using Fast Eddie Cook Shacks and stuff? Like, I mean, how many restaurants are using FECs that are killing it? So I don't know. I don't really grill shame anybody. Like, use what you're happy with and what you can cook on.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah. It's really hard to argue the consistency of a pellet smoker.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a bigger porch on my trailer, and could mount just a pellet grill on my trailer, I'd probably have one there just for make it easy. It's not real feasible, and I don't want to load a pellet grill in and out every week.
No, and I love setting the sauce on the pellet smoker.
Yeah,
I love that part of it because I got that pellet smoker. I can just set that sauce on it, and
most people that cook on drums throw pellets in their drum to set sauce too. So,
yep, it is.
It's not about what you cook on; it's how well you know it.
Yep. Changing the subject here a little bit, Justin. Last week you were down and volunteered for Operation Barbecue Relief last week. So tell us a little bit about all that.
They had a 3-day deployment at a soup kitchen about an hour or so northwest of Charlotte, in a pretty small area, town called Hickory. It's in Catawba County. A lot of poverty up there, not a lot of jobs. And so I decided, hey, I can take Tuesday off. I signed up for a 9-hour shift. So hit the road about 6:30, and it's literally as soon as I got there and got out of the truck, the dude was like, hey, climb in this reefer trailer and help me wrap all these turkeys we smoked yesterday. They had 250 turkeys, and they had smoked roughly 150 of them or so, maybe 160 of them the day before. They were all lined out in the reefer trailer, and he handed me 2 boxes of foil, and he said, wrap as many as you could stand being in here. And it wasn't super cold, but it was moist, and so I wrapped for a couple hours, and then I got out, and my whole beard and my mustache was just completely soaked in condensation. And then I helped him prep 80 more turkeys. We loaded those into the 2 big old hickories that they had on the trailer. And then we started handing out meals to people at 12 o'clock, a cold turkey, some green beans, some corn, and a bag of rolls. And I tell you, man, it definitely hit me pretty hard seeing how many people showed up that you could tell really had nothing. And a lot of those people you definitely could tell was probably the only food they were going to have that week. And so I left there physically exhausted. Also, the reefer ran out of diesel. And so I was the only one that knew how to prime a diesel to get it running again. So we got some diesel in there, and then I stood on a ladder and pumped that little prime thing, 250 times, and we got it to crank again. And the dude that ran the soup kitchen was like, "You're an angel from heaven." And I was like, "I don't know about that. I just know how to prime a diesel, man.
I've run out of gas before.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it, whatever." But I was physically exhausted when I left there, but I think I was more emotionally exhausted. Just, it was rewarding, to say the least, helping all of those people, but it hit me pretty hard thinking about how lucky we all are. We know where our next meal is going to come from, and we know where we're going to sleep at night, and it's going to be warm, and we know that we're going to be able to get up the next day and have all those things again. And a lot of those people that came to get food at that thing, they don't know that kind of stuff,
Right.
So I just kind of turned the music off on the hour drive home and just kind of reflected on, just how lucky we all are, and how you kind of gotta take that in stride in what you do every day, and help out when you can help out. So the guy asked me, "Hey, we're doing hams at Easter. If you got some time, man, we could really, have the help to come on up and give us another day of work." And I said, "You count me in, man. I'll be here to help out for sure."
Well, it is it's a good thing. It's a great opportunity, and they do a lot for barbecue as far as spreading out, but they do a lot for the communities they're in, because it's been something other that's been going everywhere. We've got a little bit of a thing.
Yeah,
that's actually Carrie. That's Carrie's burner account. He's on here.
I'm seeing this. I'm like, I didn't know if it was just showing up just on the YouTube, but I mean,
you can see it in the comments. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's Carrie's burner account.
Did you do this?
Yeah, there were a couple guys there that
log out.
and they had deployed in Florida, for the hurricane. And some of these dudes that were there, I mean, they're definitely deploying as much as they can. And they said, man, it was, I've been one of the guys have been on 8 deployments to disaster zones, and he said Florida was hands down the worst like stuff that I've ever seen. And he said it was literally everybody down there, every walk of life, they needed help. So
Yeah.
I think one of the guys said they had just they hit 11 million meals this year from the history of IBR.
It's crazy. I'm pretty sure they started in 2011 when that giant tornado took out Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah, I think is where they started in Joplin, or from Joplin. Yeah,
it's only 4 or so hours from St. Louis, and it seems like yesterday that it happened because it was so close to home. But the fact that they've been doing this for 11 years and there's no disaster that's too small for that group, and the work that those people selflessly put in is incredible.
Yeah, man, it's something that you want to be part of it. I know they take donations.
Yeah.
I know they take volunteers. I know they have areas across the country where you can sign up and become one of their volunteers. It's a great group to support and be part of.
I would, and they're starting to do more of these one-day type deployments at soup kitchens and help centers and things like that. I encourage everybody, if you can take a day off and it's nearby, go help out.
Yeah.
The guy asked me, he said, why do you probably could have volunteered in Charlotte and not driven an hour. And I said, yeah, but at Thanksgiving, there's tons of people in Charlotte that are going to volunteer at places. And I bet you need people up here more than anything. And he said, yeah, it is hard to get people to come and help.
And then
that's what I'm here for.
It's I mean, anywhere where anybody is hungry or needing a place to sleep is important, but those rural areas kind of get forgotten about a lot, because there's just not enough people there for a news camera to go to.
Yep. They gave out all 250 meals over the course of 2 days.
Yeah.
And I don't think he turned anybody away. They given out tickets to different help places around the county just to make sure that they could allot for how many people. And he told anybody that didn't have a ticket, come back Wednesday at 3, and what we got left we'll give out. And he said pretty much everybody came back that didn't have a ticket, and they were able to get a meal and help them out.
That's awesome.
Yep, it was rewarding, man. I mean, granted, I was tired after climbing in and out of that reefer, probably 25 times. These knees were like, I don't know if you do another one of those for a while, buddy. You needed some stairs, but I came home, took a shower, and went to bed.
Yeah.
But it definitely felt good to give back and help out a lot.
Yeah, it is that. Richard said he thinks that pellet smokers will be the next big thing. I'll say this: Rec Tech has gotten a lot more teams are using Rec Techs in their program.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to probably be, you'll probably see more of those over the years, more pellet smokers they coming into it, because the innovations that the pellet smokers had in the last couple of years have definitely brought our game up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they'll ever truly take over the stick burners or the drum smokers, but I do think people will start incorporating them into their process more and more over the years.
Yeah,
because there's something to be said about consistency.
I don't know how popular they'll get in competition, but I think for the home cook, like, I don't know about you guys, but I tell pretty much everybody I know that
I do too.
To get a smoker or a grill, like, just get a pellet grill.
Yep.
You won't, I live in I don't have a giant backyard, so I'm kind of limited on what grills I have at home and everything. But like I said, the pellet grill is all I use anymore at home because it's just too easy.
I think it'll keep more people interested in cooking at home for a longer period because, one, they're not going to mess up meat. They're not going to get frustrated dealing with charcoal.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff, and they're not going to go about, things wrong.
So and their kids can use it. They're what I mean? Like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be able to say when you're going to have a pellet smoker and you actually can light it and go cut grass and trust it's going to be where you want it to be at.
Yep.
And that's where the person at home is not totally dedicated to cooking. Whereas competition, we're sitting our eyes on the smokers. And you're doing at home, you're not. or not usually. Some people are. Carrie saying, Brian, still riding high. Congratulations. That's great. Dean is Rec Tex. I know that people are using the 590s. I've been using the 380s and the 1250s. Carrie, I think, was using the 1070 now. So there's different versions out there. The grill, the 380 is more of a grill style, and it's kind of works as Weber kettle style. But the 1250 and the 590s is a lot what people are using for that. There were a lot of them at the ABS Classic. That's true. When you cooking a homemade Rec Tech, what's your favorite thing to cook, Brian?
It's a lot of chicken breasts, or if I'm got like feeding a little bit of a crowd, like tri-tip's probably my favorite thing to cook. I mean, it's fairly inexpensive to feed a couple people steak, and then other than that, it'll be your standard ribeye or strip steak or whatever. I don't discriminate too hard on the protein category, if you couldn't tell.
Hey, we all like to cook and all like to eat.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And that's the thing about cooking. Everybody asks, like, why do you cook out so much? I said, because rarely will make somebody not be happy when I feed them.
Yeah, if I'm cooking at home, it's probably not going to involve anything like competition chicken or ribs or pork shoulder or brisket, but I still like cooking steaks and stuff like that.
Yep, I do too.
Yeah, same.
That's the whole thing about it, is we just enjoy the cooking and the fellowship side of it. But one girl asked me one time, she said, why do y'all do this? I said, well, I'm not sure I can get all these A personalities to go camp at the campground without killing each other. So we got to have camping out and cook against each other.
100% true.
I mean, I'd love to go camp with everybody and just hang out, but I know me. If I'm not doing something, I would probably go nuts.
Yeah, me too.
Therefore, the competition, I kind of get the best of both worlds.
They either go nuts or develop an alcohol problem.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't need that problem.
Yep.
But yeah, we definitely just enjoy it. But we get to see everybody and then compete them and cry about you losing, or like Brian here, smile when you win.
That's right. I like the travel.
I've done more crying than smiling. Don't worry.
I like the travel portion of it too. Because it's my son and I that do pretty much all the contests now. And he's 7, so it's fun to travel a lot. It's a lot of miles this year, and he wants us to go even farther next year. He's like, we got to go to the Royal, and he wants to go to Florida in January to start the season. So,
sure.
Well, Bill's got a $80,000 trailer too. So
to be fair, if we didn't barbecue, we could all afford $80,000 trailers.
That's true.
But
I agree. Yeah,
probably more than that. But
might be a little cheaper.
It's funny that you talk about like seeing different areas. I was actually talking to Bill and his wife Andrea, and we were on the way back from Georgia about how like sometimes it's almost a shame we see all these cool spaces, but we're usually just driving through. Like we were driving through Chattanooga coming back from Atlanta, and it's like sometimes I'd really like to spend maybe a day or two in Chattanooga and do some of the sightseeing and stuff like that, because it's a beautiful area of the country, and all I ever see of it is Highway 24, or Interstate 24. So
yeah,
maybe at some point we'll be able to go on some of these trips and stop and smell the roses, so to speak, instead of looking for the cheapest diesel so we can get home.
Yeah, we're talking about taking our small trailer when we had it in Arkansas and going out in that part of the country and do some contests in the summertime, whatever. Because I've been on that part of the country for barbecue competitions. I've been out there for hunting. I've been to South Dakota for hunting. I've been through all that. But I've never seen that part of the country green.
Right.
And every time I go through there, it's harvest season or it's brown. I want to see those prairies out there, those fields corn's about knee high. I think that'd be blow your mind.
Yep.
I've never seen it green.
It's definitely pretty mind blowing.
Yeah. I'm from Missouri, so I've seen my fair share of green cornfields, but But no, Arkansas is such a beautiful state. Like there's just, I'd love to be able to go view some of the rivers and streams and stuff like that.
Yeah, it would. It's a beautiful part of the country. I think we're going to try to do some a little bit more of in Illinois, Idaho, somewhere. Not Idaho, but yeah, that part of the country of yonder, and try to make our way out and do some contests in other parts of the area. And just see what happens and just enjoy it. Because, like you said, man, there's so many good teams right now out there competing that you've got to go into it and just enjoy it. Because if you take it so seriously, you can't. It can humble you really fast. Really, really fast. But sometimes you put all the pieces together like Brian did, and you knock it out of the park. Some good teams, and you be successful, and you win the contest, and then you make it all worth to keep doing it.
Absolutely.
But so you cook anything over the wintertime, or you're taking the Christmas breaks off?
Yeah, we'll take the winter off. The first comp we'll do will either be Sip and Swine there in Georgia, or Smoke on the Shores in Lebanon, Tennessee, a couple weeks after that. So
awesome.
I seen the Facebook post on that one, getting ready close to being full.
Yeah, I'm ready for some. That's a really good contest. We've cooked it the past couple years, and Jason and Eric and everybody there do an awesome job.
Yeah, it's a pretty area, and I'd like to go do it. I think I'd like to go do that contest. But man, it's just hard to pay for contests before this year's over for next year.
Yeah. Is that buy Christmas presents or entry fees for 2023?
I'm thinking about what my wife I want.
Yeah, that's what you need for Christmas. Just give every contest.
I had to buy a couple briskets because of the sale that Snakeroo Farm had, and it's like, man, these are just going to sit in the freezer for 3 months.
Yeah. But hey, we keep getting them.
Yeah, you got to take the discounts when you can, man.
That's true.
Ain't going to get any cheaper.
Yep, that's true.
I think it's only get worse. I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully it'll get better. This stuff here. Got any sponsors you want to kind of point out, Brian?
Yeah, just give a quick shout out. We kind of already talked to him, but Chris Schaefer with Heavy Smoke is our main sponsor. So he's one of my best friends in barbecue, but he's been taking care of us, hooking us up with his seasonings, and really I've pretty much go to almost all his classes and help out. And I say I'm there to help out. I usually have a notepad with me because there's something I didn't pick up the previous time. So I think he's got a class this weekend and then one in January. I think both are sold out, but he's talking about opening up one in March potentially. So if there's anybody that hasn't taken that class, you might want to reach out to him. But that's pretty much it on the sponsorship side.
Yeah, he's got a good class, great class.
I would say I've got another company that sponsors me. I won't name them, but usually what I do is give them about 40 to 50 hours worth of my time every week. They give me some money to go barbecue. So pretty good arrangement we have.
That's good. That's a good one. Usually people are like, it's my Bank of America or but they're not giving me anything in return. It just seems like what I put in, I get back out.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like you see a lot of new teams on social media. How do I get sponsors and stuff like that? And it's like, I mean, you got to have something to offer somebody, and just putting a sticker on your trailer or flying their flag, you probably isn't going to. You figure if a company's going to give you $100 and stuff, you need to make them $1,000. Or at least try to, because it's got to work out for both people. Nobody's just going to pay you to do your hobby.
That's true.
That's the thing about it. I mean, people want to get sponsors, and don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I've been blessed to have some sponsors and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You got to work for it. If you don't put forth the effort to show them that you're going to help them sell products, and they're donating money, and most of the time they're going to donate to a needy charity.
Right, or they'll spend it on a radio commercial or stuff like that, because we're talking about small businesses, and everybody's advertising, everything budget is hurting right now, so it's tough. I think there's a lot of people that think that they are just going to get people to give them money to go have fun on the weekends. Like, if you played golf with your buddies, you wouldn't ask the local plumbing company to pay your greens fees, but for some reason,
Yeah.
Titleist isn't going to sponsor an 18 handicap that gets drunk with his buddies on Saturday.
That's pretty true.
Yeah.
Randy's rub
on my bag though when I'm on the green.
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy.
Randy's rub out of Texas. I had to check them out. I hadn't heard about them.
Yeah, I haven't either. We'll have to check them out.
I'm always interested in trying some new rubs and stuff out there.
Yeah, probably sure we all got cabinets full of rubs we bought to try, and
yep.
My wife has started taking ours out and carrying to work and giving them away.
Yeah,
that's what she's starting to do now is give them away.
Got a time limit on them. That's been on the shelf for a year.
I mean, there's just so many good ones out there. Like you can, but then it's like if you keep changing up your seasonings, you never know what.
That's exactly right. Yep.
You just got to find a program and stick with it.
Yep.
I think there's also something to be said about the rubs when you open them up. They don't last after you open that seal. Right. That sell by date is not opened. When you start opening them up,
they're
gonna get really salty really fast if you're not careful with them.
Yep.
Yeah. I try to keep like pretty small shakers, in my trailer and refill them each week out of like vacuum packed bags and stuff.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Or I got a bag of the actual seal toppers, the pressure seals.
Oh, that's smart.
And I'll put another one on there after I pour some out, that way it kind of doesn't, it's still going to get some moisture in there, but that at least gives them a little bit more life.
Where do you get those?
I think I ordered them from one of the bottle manufacturers.
Okay.
They're very, very cheap.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I've also tried not to order so much because you can always just order more, but if you order 4 of them, 3 of them sit on the shelf for 6 months, then it's like, well, I just wasted money on those because I only want to use them now. They're so old.
I like putting them silica packets in them also.
Yeah, that's a good way to keep them good.
Especially those ones that's got a lot of the beef fat in it, they get caked real fast.
Yeah, like the Blues Hog Bold and Beefy. I usually just keep it in my freezer.
And I usually grind my Bold and Beefy a little bit too, make it a little bit more powdery. Holy cow, man! You get to the bottom of that thing, and it's just like a solid brick, and it's like, well, I see where all the moisture went that was in this.
Yeah.
I just got to stop buying the big jugs of it because I just don't use as much of it, so I need to step down on the size.
Yeah, there's something to be said about not buying so much. Only order, like the picture said, only order what you need.
Yep.
The problem is you start doing 4 or 5 contests in a row and you start going through your stock really, really fast.
Yeah, and it's a lot cheaper if you can buy them, if you know you're going to use 5 pounds of something to just go ahead and buy it.
Yeah. And when I do that, I'll put it in a dark, cold place or in the freezer, depending on what the rub is and stuff, or the refrigerator. But again, everybody's to their own. We just start giving away for Christmas presents.
Bottles of rubbing sauce.
And say, here you go.
What the hell is this?
You go in my pantry, you're like, do you really truly need half the pantry full of barbecue stuff?
Instead of Halloween candy, you're handing out seasoning.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And it is
doing that.
Yeah.
Kids come to the house. Here you go. Carry that to your dad.
Yep.
Oh, Lordy. Well, Brian, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. I greatly appreciate that. I want to wish you success in everything you've done and hope you have more contests. But congratulations on winning your first contest, and I'm glad I was there to see that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure we'll see you out there next year.
Justin sent you the link in the comments.
Awesome.
Yep, I went and found it. Suncoast.
Thanks, Justin.
Sunwest container. Yep.
Yeah. But, yeah, appreciate that. And I hope y'all have a good night. We're going to sign off.
See you next week, guys.